crash wasn't your fault, and when the insurance company calls, you figure it's safe to just tell them what happened. But a few weeks later, your claim gets denied or even lowballed suddenly. Your own words can be used against you. By then, the damage is done and your options are very limited. I'm Jason Marker, a personal injury attorney here in Illinois, and I've seen too many injury claims fall apart and people really lose out on bigger paydays just because someone talked to the insurance adjuster before getting legal advice. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what one call can do to wreck your case and what to do instead to protect your rights from day one. Let me tell you something the insurance companies won't. Their number one goal from the minute you pick up the phone is to limit how much they'll have to pay you. In Illinois, just like everywhere else, insurance adjusters are trained professionals. Their job is to save their company money, not to help you get what you deserve. In fact, most times these adjusters even get bonuses for certain dollar figures they can save their company. When you get into a car accident, your phone will probably start ringing within days, sometimes even hours, with a friendly sounding adjuster on the other line. They'll sound helpful, maybe even compassionate. But remember, they're not your friend. They have a script and a strategy. In Illinois, there is no law that requires you to speak to the other driver's insurance company. You don't have to answer their questions. You don't have to give them a recorded statement. And you absolutely don't have to accept their first offer. But that's where people wreck their claim. They talk before they're ready and before they've gotten real legal advice. Let's talk about how this one single wrong move, speaking to the insurance company before you speak to a lawyer, can completely destroy your car accident injury case. Have you ever heard the phrase, anything you say can and will be used against you? That's not just for police dramas. Insurance companies use it as well. Let's say you get a call from an adjuster. Maybe you're still rattled after the accident, still dealing with pain, trying to figure out how you're going to get your car fixed or even make it to work. The adjuster says, "How are you feeling today?" Maybe you say, "I'm okay, I guess, sore, but I'm fine." Right there, you just gave them ammunition. Months from now, if you start having more pain and you need physical therapy, they'll pull out that statement and say, "But you told us that you were fine." Even something as simple as saying, "I didn't see the other car coming," can be twisted into an admission of fault in Illinois. The law follows a comparative negligence rule. That means if you're found to be more than 50% at fault for your accident, you get nothing. If you're less than 50% at fault, your compensation can get reduced by the percentage at fault. Every little word you say to the insurance company can be used to push that down for them to blame you. I've seen cases turn on just a few sentences spoken in those early days. You don't want that to happen to you. One of the first things that an insurance adjuster may ask for is called a recorded statement. They say, "It's just routine," or "This will help speed up your claim." It sounds harmless, right? But it's anything but. Here's what really happens. The adjuster is trained to ask questions in a way that boxes you in. They might ask you to describe the accident, but then they interrupt with specifics like, "Were you speeding? Did you see the other car's signal? Did you glance at your phone?" Now, it's easy to get frustrated and misspeak, especially if you're still shaken up after the accident. What you say in a recorded statement is almost impossible to take back. It becomes part of the permanent file. If your injury gets worse, or you remember a new detail later, they'll question your honesty or claim that you're changing your story. This can kill your credibility in negotiations or even later in court. In Illinois, you are not required to give a statement to the other driver's insurance company at all. You can and should decline politely and say that you want to speak to a lawyer first. That's not being difficult, that's just protecting your rights. If you're wondering if they're being fair, by the way, ask them if you can take their driver's recorded statement. I guarantee you they will say no, and that's how you know that they're not in it for you. Let's talk about those quick settlement offers also. After a car accident, expenses pile up fast. Car repairs, medical bills, lost wages. Insurance companies know that you're stressed. Sometimes they offer a quick check almost immediately before you've even seen all your doctors and know the full extent of your injuries. It can be very tempting to have money in hand. Bills are paid, things like that. But in Illinois, once you sign a settlement agreement, you cannot ask for more money, even if your injuries turn out to be much worse than you thought. Let's talk about those quick settlement offers. After a car accident, expenses are piling up fast, car repairs, medical bills, lost wages. Insurance companies know that you're stressed. Sometimes they offer you a check almost immediately before you've even seen all of the doctors or know the full extent of your injuries. It can be very tempting to have money in hand, pay the bills, get rid of the stress. But here's the catch. In Illinois, once you sign an agreement and take money, you can't ask for more later, even if your injuries turn out to be much worse than you thought. I've helped so many clients who thought that they had only whiplashes, but then later, within weeks or months, discovered that they need a surgery because of a herniated disc or something major. If you've already accepted that settlement, the claim is over. The insurance company has saved thousands, and the injured person like you would be stuck with a lifelong statement of bills. A lawyer knows the full value of your case. They're going to look at not only your current bills, but also your future treatment, your loss in earning potential, your pain and suffering, your loss for normal enjoyment of life. Don't let the insurance company rush you into a decision that can haunt you for years. Now, Illinois has specific laws that protect people hurt in car accidents, but you need to know how they work. For example, the statute of limitations gives you 2 years from the date of your crash to file a personal injury lawsuit. If you get pressured into settling too quickly, you might miss out on that time you really need to understand your injuries and losses. Another thing, Illinois uses at-fault insurance rules. That means the person who caused the accident, and they're insured, is responsible for paying damages. But if you accidentally say something that gets twisted to sounding like you shared in the blame, your compensation can drop fast or disappear altogether. I once had a client who casually mentioned to the insurance adjuster that he might be going a little too fast. That one sentence became their entire defense. Now, we were able to fight the case, but it made the process much longer and harder than it needed to be. And it all started with a simple call made right after before talking to the lawyer. Let me share a real story. A woman in Chicago was rear-ended at a stoplight. The insurance company called her the same day, and she gave a recorded statement. She said she felt a little achy, but okay. A few days later, she started having severe neck pain and needed months of physical therapy. When we tried to negotiate the claim with her, the insurance company argued that she must not have been seriously injured because of what she said in her statement. Well, it took almost a year of fighting to get her fair compensation, much longer, more stressful than it needed to be. If she had spoken with me first, I could have coached her to avoid these pitfalls. And this kind of thing happens in my practice all the time. So why does speaking to a lawyer first make such a huge difference, you might ask? Well, because we know the insurance company's playbook. We know their tactics. We know how to protect you from their traps. When a client comes to me after a car crash, the first thing that I do is take over all communication with the insurance company. That means no more surprise phone calls, no more pressure to give recorded statements, and no more lowball offers. You can focus on the healing while I make sure nothing you say gets twisted against you. We also make sure that you get the right medical evaluations and keep thorough records. Sometimes injuries take weeks to fully show up, and you shouldn't settle until you know exactly what's wrong. I'll help you document everything so that there's no question about what happened and how it's affected your life. Lawyers also know how to calculate the full value of your claim, not just your current bills, but your future needs, your missed work, your real pain and suffering. We've seen how insurance companies try to whittle away these numbers, and we know how to fight back. Here's the bottom line. Insurance companies are in business to make money. They're not on your side. Their first call to you is not about helping you. It's about building a case against you to pay you as little as possible. In Illinois, you have strong rights if you're injured in a car accident, but you only get one shot to get it right. Don't let your own words, spoken without legal advice, wreck that chance. If you're watching this and you're thinking, oh no, I already talked to them, don't panic. It's still possible to protect your rights, but you need to get legal advice quickly. Call a personal injury attorney, explain what you've said, bring your notes or documentation that you have. The sooner you get to those professionals, the better. Don't answer any questions. Don't agree to any meetings or sign any papers until you've talked to a lawyer. It's not too late to get back on track, but every day counts. To sum it up, speaking to the insurance company before a lawyer in Illinois is the single most common mistake that ruins your car accident injury claim. Adjusters are trained to use your words against you and to lock you into statements and push you into cheap settlements before you know your rights. Don't fall for it. If you want to keep your claim safe and get what you really deserve, talk to a lawyer first, every single time. If you found this helpful, you absolutely need to watch my next video, 5 things you must not do after a motorcycle accident. Even if you don't ride, many of the tips there can apply to auto accident cases and can save you or someone you know a lot of heartache. Don't risk the recovery or your rights. Click over there now and I'll see you over there.